The 1970s were the golden age of car chases, the pre-CGI era, when real steel collided with real asphalt at real speeds. 13 cars, 13 chase scenes, no digital effects. Just horsepower, torque, and engines pushed beyond their limits for the camera.
Pontiac Le Mans, The French Connection, 1971. A plain 1971 Pontiac Le Mans, commandeered straight off the street, becomes a battering ram in the hands of Gene Hackman's Popeye Doyle. With no armor and no prep, the Le Mans is thrown through Brooklyn traffic at speeds near 90 miles per hour, ducking under an elevated subway line as it chases a train overhead. Director William Friedkin shot it with no permits, and one real, unscripted collision between the Le Mans and a civilian car was left in the final cut.
Dodge Challenger RT, Vanishing Point, 1971. The star is a 1970 Dodge Challenger RT 440 Magnum, a 375 horsepower V8 muscle car tasked with crossing 4 states in under 15 hours. 5 identical Challengers, all supplied by Chrysler, were used and abused across the deserts of Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California. The film's finale pushes the Challenger to its breaking point as it barrels toward a police roadblock of bulldozers, the car itself becoming a symbol of speed and defiance.
Ford Mustang GT390 versus Dodge Charger RT, Bullitt, 1968. 2 cars define this chase. Steve McQueen's dark green 1968 Ford Mustang GT390 Fastback and the black 1968 Dodge Charger RT 440 Magnum chasing him. For nearly 10 minutes, the pair duel through San Francisco's hills at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour, catching air off every crest. 2 Mustangs and 2 Chargers, prepped by legendary mechanic Max Belchowski, were sacrificed over 3 weeks of filming, with no score, just engine and tire noise carrying the scene.
Ford Mustang Mach 1 Eleanor, gone in 60 seconds. Eleanor, a 1973 Ford Mustang Mach 1, is the only car in film history credited as a lead actor. Across a 40-minute chase through Long Beach, Eleanor survives and causes the wreckage of 93 real cars with no CGI and no stunt doubles. One crash into a light pole at high speed was real enough to fracture the driver's vertebra, and Eleanor's climactic jump over a 30-foot gap was filmed in a single, unrigged take.
Dodge Charger RT, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, 1974. After ditching a Chevy Impala, the getaway crew switches to a 1969 Dodge Charger RT 440 Magnum, its 375 horsepower V8 roaring through California's Central Valley farmland with a police helicopter tracking low overhead. The Charger evades patrol cars across narrow country roads for most of the chase, until the film's brutal ending, where it collides head-on with a real freight locomotive at full speed, a single-take crash with no dummies.
Pontiac Ventura versus Pontiac Granville, The 7-Ups, 1973. A 1973 Pontiac Ventura Sprint Coupe chases a fleeing Pontiac Granville across the George Washington Bridge and onto New York's parkways. Producer Philip D'Antoni, the man behind Bullitt and The French Connection, choreographed the pursuit with real traffic and no CGI. The Granville's end is one of the era's most violent car stunt moments, a full-speed collision with a parked truck that launches its roof into the air, done entirely with practical effects.
Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, Smokey and the Bandit, 1977. A black and gold 1977 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am SE, running a 6.6-liter V8, carries the Bandit across state lines. Of the 4 Trans Ams supplied by Pontiac for filming, 3 were destroyed. The car's most punishing moment comes at the Mulberry Bridge jump, where a specially modified Trans Am, fitted with rear ballast and a 750-plus horsepower NASCAR engine, losses over a dismantled bridge and lands so hard it's totaled on impact. Ford Custom 500, White Lightning, 1973. Gator McCleskey's 1971 Ford Custom 500, modified for hauling moonshine, is built for one job: outrunning the law on back roads. Its signature stunt sends the Custom 500 off a riverbank and onto a moving barge, a jump that went wrong in real life, landing the car partly in the water. The film's other featured car, a sheriff's patrol vehicle, meets its end the same way, a real, uncut plunge off a riverbank into the water.
Ford Galaxy 500 versus Plymouth Fury Fleet, The Driver, 1978.
A 1974 Ford Galaxy 500 outruns a full fleet of Plymouth Furies through nighttime downtown Los Angeles, with every J-turn and reverse 180 performed for real in live traffic. The Galaxy's driving is surgical rather than flashy, precision over spectacle. In a separate standout scene, a brand-new Mercedes-Benz W108 is deliberately destroyed against parking garage pillars, panel by panel, purely to prove a point.
Ford Falcon XB Pursuit Special, Mad Max, 1979. Max's car begins as a 1973 Ford Falcon XB GT sedan and ends the film reborn as the Pursuit Special, fitted with a non-functional supercharger and a menacing nose cone. Alongside it, a stolen Holden Monaro HQ leads a fleet of police interceptors through public roads at speeds over 100 miles per hour, with no closed streets and minimal permits. The chase's most explosive car moment, a full vehicle fireball, was captured practically in a single take.
Pontiac Firebird Trans Am and Chevy Corvette, Cannonball, 1976. A Pontiac Firebird Trans Am races coast to coast in this satire of the real-life Cannonball Baker's Sea to Shining Sea run, one of more than 50 vehicles wrecked during production. The Trans Am's most punishing moment is a full end-over-end flip after a high-speed collision, done practically with real pyrotechnics. Elsewhere, a Chevrolet Corvette skids off a cliff edge in a single uncut take with no miniatures involved.
Dodge Travco Motorhome, Race with the Devil, 1975. An unlikely chase vehicle, a 1973 Dodge Travco Motorhome, carrying two couples fleeing a satanic cult across rural Texas. Bulky as it is, the RV is turned into an agile escape vehicle, weaving down a narrow bridge as cultist trucks flank both sides, actors often riding inside during the actual stunt work. By the finale, the motorhome has taken real, repeated damage from Molotov cocktails and collisions, all shot with practical effects.
Pontiac Trans Am 455 and Buick Riviera, Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, 1974. Jeff Bridges' character steals a real 1973 Pontiac Trans Am 455 Super Duty straight off a dealership lot, driving it through ditches and riverbanks with almost no rigging. Later, the pair hijack a 1973 Buick Riviera boat tail, which takes real shotgun blasts through its rear glass before being dirt-tracked across rugged Montana terrain, every dent and bullet hole captured on real damaged cars. 13 chase scenes that define the decade. Pontiacs, Fords, Dodges, and one incredibly realistic Shelby Cobra, all driven to their limits by sheer horsepower and guts. No CGI, no digital stunt doubles, just real machines taking real damage. Which car chase scene on this list is your favorite? Let us know in the comments.